What's up, you guys? Been a while since I've been on here. This is Emmanuel here. Currently, my artist name goes by the name of Emmanuel Mars. I have a music YouTube channel called XA The Foundation. I love to make music videos on. I have XA Books, where I write books on stories that I like. And I have a number of other things that I like to do. Today, I just wanted to talk about something that came to my mind today. That is, I feel like there's just a certain way that I feel like I've lived life over the years. That I was not, too conscious of, that I feel like has helped me. And so me realizing it today makes me want to share it. So I've always had, I would say, 3 aspects to my life that I have went through, that I operate on on a day-to-day basis, for about, I would say, 6 years now, ever since I've really graduated from high school. My life has been operating off of in 3 ways, and that has been my job life, work life. It's been my personal life, and it's been my life of passions. And so I would say that my life of passions is really in relation to my music. Not only my art, like artistically. So everything artistically on here, what I do with music, what I do with writing, what I do, website, making comics, any of those other things that I like to do. I would say those are what my passions are, and those have been my passions for years, ever since, really for a long time, actually, ever since I was a kid, say. So it came to my I would say realization today, after I heard something from a social media influencer person, and the person said that social media was their job. They said that, and it was really, I don't really think about it. I've never really thought about it that much. But I did think about it probably, I think, one time last year, and then I just thought of something else, honestly. But this person, they pretty much just threw it out there. It's just social media stuff that I do on here. This is just my job. And it got me thinking, making this video in my messy room. But yeah, when that person said that, it it really got me thinking, right? It got me thinking, like, it got me thinking about, my life and, how I operate doing things. And like I said, I've came to the realization that I've been living life off of three in three different aspects. And that I listed. And I feel like, if I were to be honest, I would say that certain people, I don't know everyone, but I would say that certain people, they do probably go off living their life centered around probably one aspect, which could be their job. And for some others, could just be more so centered around their personal life. And I would say rarely it's centered around passion, because that there can't really necessarily be like, money that comes from just, from that alone, right? Or, stuff that's needed to survive, a life centered around passions alone, that is not necessarily going to lead to, that's not necessarily going to be like sustainable, let's say. So I would say that, especially with adults that have things like figured out and they do things like really well, I guess they're very like stable. Most stable adults, I would say, they center their lives around two different aspects, and that's their work life, and then it's their personal life. And so I would say, like I said before, I've been centering my life off three things, and I've pretty much had really three different lives for it pretty much as well, I guess. I say three different lives because I do all of those things differently. The way that I do it is different. I approach it differently for all three of those things. But I feel like it came to my realization that for that to have been my life over the years, especially like since graduating high school, for that to have been my life, it's been a privilege to me. I don't think it's been a right. I think it's been a privilege, because honestly, not everyone. I would not say that I'm the type of person that was like, yeah, I'm a talent. I'm not a talented person by. I don't even really believe in the term talent, truly. But I do think that, especially like growing up, I feel like I was passionate about things, and I was also able to build my skills off of the things I was passionate about, just because I just wanted to keep doing it. And so going into my life, since graduating, I've had the privilege to be able to do those things in in a good way, like to be able to do it in a large way, with large volume. But I over the years, I have also struggled with my personal life, and I also struggled with my work life. And so, especially approaching this year, but I think the previous years, but especially this year, I've been able to get all three aspects, all three dimensions, all three areas of my life. I've been able to get it to work together. And that took a lot. Some things that were, natural, and some things that are not too natural. But I'm glad that I have gotten there. But over the years previously, I've always had really a privilege to make art and to be an artist. While everyone can be an artist, it is a privilege to be able to not only make art, but to build a life around it. Because it's helped a lot with my quality of life. It's helped a lot with my ambitions. It's helped a lot for me to be ambitious and to demand better for myself and reach expectations and surpass my own expectations and surpass myself, which is something I always try and do every single day, and every single year. Try and surpass what I did previous year, and I try to surpass the person that I was the previous year. And me having a life centered around art, me having an artistic life that I'm very passionate about, and for that to be a third aspect of my life, and for that to be a separate life that I live, it's given me extra incentive to be the best that I can. But it's also added a lot of I would say diversity, to my life. And it's also helped to just make things a lot more exciting, but it's also helped to keep me grounded so that I don't go too much off the rails, so that I don't, involve myself into things that I get absolutely hooked on, and stuff like that. And not only am I passionate about it, I care about it, like I said. I mean, I guess which you could say is passionate as well, but I really care about it. I care about it a lot, to the point where I do it each year, and I've built an entire life around it that has been very awesome and very helpful. Not everything is what can be good comes with bad too, and I will get to that soon. But I just want to talk more about my point, my current point here. I would say that when it comes to my personal life and when it comes to my work life, I've kept that separate, and it's taken a lot to get all three working. But I think that in terms of my personal life, especially, let's say, really since I moved states, since I basically just moved, my personal life started to just get better. I used to live in Georgia. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Not really like downtown Atlanta, but East Point, Georgia, which is, I guess basically Atlanta area. And I just really didn't have a good time there. It wasn't fun. And I would say that my personal life really was at its worst there. But pretty much just moving states, I was able to see like more opportunities job-wise, and it was also just better to go outside. I felt more motivated to go outside because I know that I would see nice things, as opposed to where I was in Georgia, where I would just go out and see the same things over and over again, and it wasn't as fun. So I moved here 2022, so it's been it's getting close to 4 years here that I've moved to a different state, but it's mostly been 3. I would say pretty much about 4 now. And yeah, since then my personal life has just gotten better. When I first moved here, I didn't have much money. I was actually in a not great position financially, but I sustained myself really mainly just off of keeping my passions close to me, while also wanting to see a lot of the amazing stuff around here in this city, state. And so I used to work DoorDash. But DoorDash is not necessarily the greatest when it comes to money, but it's actually really amazing and can really be great in terms of like personal life. And it was really great for my personal life during the times when I didn't have like a clock in, clock out job, which I do have one right now. And I've been able to, just have like a lot more money, a lot more resources. That's one of the main things of, why I, start like indie short film movie projects. That's one of the things that really helped me for that. So, but yeah, when I was doing DoorDash, since it's been such a really amazing state, I was able to just go out, and I would do it every day, and I would go out every day, and I would just see the world, and I wouldn't travel to states, but I'd be traveling to different places, and I would see it constantly, pretty much new things constantly every day. And also just a new way to interact with the outside world, the outside environment. And I felt like that has also helped. That was also like really cool for my music and all of my art, artistic stuff that I was working on. And so I had those things, and it's really benefited me till now. But that alone is not necessarily enough. I would say that during that time my life was really more so centered around my personal life, and but again, that alone wasn't enough for me. That alone wasn't enough to sustain me to legitimately just sustain me, to keep me, for me to even just get better in life. That was not enough to center my life around. That was not simply enough. And it's, personal life is not only just, seeing new things, going outside a lot. It can also just be, having a girlfriend, having a boyfriend, sitting and watching a TV show, anything leisurely, And so, work is what it sounds like is for money, right? And that is what is needed to survive and all that. And great, awesome. Money's great. I can totally say that, especially now. It's great. But I think that what, again, I already said the things that, having a separate life of passion and integrating that, and passion for my art, integrating that into my life has really helped me a lot. I've pretty much said the ways that it has helped me. But I will say that it's also given me like an advantage. It's not, to me, it's not necessarily a disadvantage to live life that way or to live life the way that I've been living. Reason why I say that is because, again, to have all three working really helps and is really amazing for, to add for variety, to keep myself level-headed, and to also also do things freely, and to also do things and to also like challenge myself and surpass my limits and my expectations, and any limit or expectation anyone puts on me. I feel like that in and of itself is an advantage, so that it's already a pretty much defined lifestyle. No matter where I go, that will always remain with me, whether anyone likes it or not. It'll always remain with me, and what I've gotten from it will always remain with me. There's a lot of space to just learn things living life that way. There's a lot of space to grow that living life that way. And there's a lot of space for me to be accepted for me, for who I am, and for me as a person, as opposed to what I can just offer to somebody. Now, it's a privilege to be able to make art. It's a privilege, and it's actually something that helps, and is very fun for anyone. I really feel like for anyone that lives, goes to a clock in, clock out job anywhere, it can really be very fun and very helpful, especially if it's something that you actually really have fun with and you actually enjoy. There are a number of spaces in the media in which, like, they do what they do, and it's just a clock in, clock out job for them. the passion, I'm sorry to say, is not really there that much in comparison to someone that is has grown up into it, grown up with it, or yeah, yeah, or that just loves it like crazy. It is not necessarily an advantage, or you certainly are not inferior when someone tells you that they do the things that you love, they do it for a living, or they make money from it, because that just might be all that it amounts to for them. There might not be a huge amount of joy that they get from doing what they do. There might not be joy at all that they get from doing what they do. And if they continue to do that, that is just on them. You know? And you know how people work and how they do things. They just do what they do. They just feel how they feel. And so sometimes they attack people. You know, they might just, attack people, or just be angry, or go at somebody, because of whatever reason. Might be because that might be at, really passionate people or whatever. But I would advise, anybody that could maybe use, to anybody that could find something of value to what I'm saying, I would advise, if you've been on the edge or thinking about, or on the precipice and thinking about having a separate life, built around passions, surrounded around passions, and integrating that into your life to go with your work life and your personal life. If you've been thinking about that, I would highly recommend it, because it might be tough to pull off. It definitely took me a lot of years, and I went through a lot of turmoil in my process of making all three things of those work. But it has been the best, and it has been so good of an experience that I could not have even imagined it. Like, it's been a strangely unbelievably good experience. And I don't think that me just being awarded with a large amount of money, or being awarded with, I could go to some state and tour some state or whatever, those things could not replace what the experiences that I got from living life living like a trifold life, living life in three aspects, and living pretty much three different lives and making them work. All across those things, I have been myself, and I really believe in being as honest and authentic as I could be, and I just express myself like how I want to express myself. I express myself like how I feel and how I like to feel. And that has been very helpful as well. All those things, and one of the biggest reasons of why I would recommend it to somebody that is might be thinking of it or anything like that, or that might see value in it. One of the biggest reasons why I would recommend it is because there's been a lot of years that I would go into, a number of years that I would go into, and I would just be like, this is going to be the year that I kick the bucket. This, in fact, probably finally should be the year which I just kick the bucket and die. And to live life in 3 different aspects, it's always at least given me something to be interested about, like, okay, let me see how this maybe turns out, and it's also allowed me to see things in different amount of ways of how things can go. Usually in general every day, I am trying to think of like practical kind of like problem solving, I guess, things for myself and things to improve myself, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, really. And how to get things done and to do things in the best way that I can, not only for myself but for my environment. And that's what I'll say. Like, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But again, I would really recommend it. And I really feel like if you are an artist and you are not really getting much money from what you are doing, or any money at all, or you don't necessarily see any numbers or praise or attention, I would advise that you just do not feel bad about yourself and you continue to chase your passion. And your passion might just be like building Legos. That's incredible. You could build a whole life around that, and that could be incredibly like amazing for you. Especially like as an autistic person, and I'm autistic myself. That can just be very helpful. I mean, that almost just takes care of itself. If someone is like probably autistic, they're probably more likely to build a life around what they enjoy and all that. And so everyone has their strengths, and everyone has what they have as weaknesses, and some people attack other people for their weaknesses, and some people attack people for their strengths, or they get angry at people. I can say that one thing I've noticed is the better that I've gotten is the more people have hated me. That I'll say that a number of people have hated me or just not liked me. And I will not say that that is everybody, because I've not seen everybody. And so, but for the most part, the better I've gotten has been sort of like the more frustrated in terms of real life relations, it's the more frustrated I've been able to see from people. And so not everything is as, a perfect outcome or whatever. Everything has its, like living life in the way that I have could be like a pretty lonely experience, in the sense that it doesn't necessarily fit into other people's life or how they live life. Like I said, most adults, they center their lives around most stable adults, and this is no this is not to demonize them or whatever. They're doing great, and I really respect and admire that. But most stable adults, it's really around their life, their personal life and their work life. And if anything does not fit into that, then it's just it will stay away. If it does not fit into that, it will stay away. In most cases, that's what I have seen. And so adding that third aspect can, yes, absolutely be isolating in and of itself. So yeah, like, that is just a way of life. Like most people, I would say, one thing I would say about having a third aspect of life built around like passions and stuff is that there is less of a need, right, to do things for it to have an outcome. You know, do things for the sole purpose of having an outcome. Like, since being an artist is, you know, going into it, there's basically, at least for me, going into it, there was no money, there was no how can I say it? There was no guarantee for money or something like that. You know, just because I started music or whatever doesn't mean that like I was gonna like immediately sign a fucking contract or whatever. I was just not, you know, born into that or whatever the hell. You know, I was not like moved into the space for that or whatever the heck, or been around that type of space for that to happen or whatever. I don't know, especially just with how I did things, how I was going about things. I always wanted to protect my passions. And it's not like I'm not open to, and I will say this for sure, that in a lot of ways, you know, people have made their passions, the life that, you know, their passions, and they've made that work life, they've made it into one. And we see a lot of that, I feel like, in the media. And they're you know, they do amazing things with that. But yeah, but it can also kind of get like misconstrued with trying to mix those things together. It can also, there can be issues like that can come across, like, you know, a person could come across doing that. But in general, that is an incredible way to go about things, and there's not really, in fact, much room for error, really. Somebody chases their passions and then they make it into a way of life. There's no really room for error when it comes to that. And I look to do that myself. I look to do that myself with everything that I'm doing. At the same time, I'm just living my life. You know, if I haven't gotten there yet, I just haven't gotten there yet, and that's fine. And wherever I end up will be fine. But I know that so far, making all three things, making all three aspects of my life work together for me has been one of the most enriching experiences I could have ever imagined. And honestly, I honestly thought my experience might have been a lot worse. leaving high school, considering the things I was going through mentally, my physical health, and all of that. I had a pretty grim outlook. So every single year I've done better than I've imagined. And I just had new things that I'm like, okay, I could do this and I could try this, like the indie film stuff has been going good. It's been progressing really nice. Everything has been really cool and fun. I know my face is not doesn't really give it off, or I guess the way that I'm talking. I'm really just trying to get like my point across. That's really my that's the biggest thing I'm trying to do here. And yeah. When I want to get a point across, my voice is, I guess, more bland than usual. My voice kind of really changes actually when I'm like excited or if I'm excited or like just in a free flow state, which is especially like with my personal life, that's what I try and do pretty much 24/7, to just be in a free flow state. And so yeah, I would just say that nobody, if you have something that you're passionate about, you're working on, nobody really has anything over you at all. If somebody attacks you or somebody doesn't like you, and you can tell when someone doesn't really like you or they are frustrated with you and stuff like that, for just who you are, for maybe not fair reasons as well, I would advise, I would say that I would just advise to probably remember what you're doing it for, and to hold on to the stuff that you love, and to continue to follow your heart. That's really the biggest thing. The biggest thing I could say to people that are younger than me, and that will get them, that I feel like will probably get them above me, because it's very possible for anybody to do. I mean, tons of people are above me, but to get them to for them to do more than me, that I've done, even artistically, is really artistically is a whole different thing artistically, but just really as a person and everything in general, I would advise them to just live a great life as well, and to probably go in the right kind of, the great, awesome kind of directions. Is I would advise just follow your heart, and to continue to do that. Everyone kind of does that in their own way. So yeah, I've had plans to share more information, I guess, that I've wanted to share, that has been on my mind, that I just haven't yet, because I am not only pretty busy, but I am also recovering. I'm also I'm always either being busy or in recovery mode, working on my passions, or just working at work. And so yeah, everything, I guess, really is what you make of it, and you can make a lot of amazing stuff from this. I would say in 2024, I had one of the most free years. I was the most free that I ever was in my life, and I had like no money at all. I had no money. I had like, yeah, I had no money. I had pretty much just a handful of dollars, probably like $10-$20 like each day to go to like sustain myself, which sounds, terrible, but during that time I went to like so many places. I saw so many things, and I did things like how I wanted. And when I came back to having more of like a stable life and stuff, I was like 10 times better. And I have improved, and I feel like the results, have shown it, and I have things to show for myself in terms of the life that I've lived and the decisions that I've made and am making. I'm very confident when it comes to everything that I'm working on, and that I am going to complete my goals for this year. If I'm not, I guess attacked personally in my personal life or whatever, which, things happen like that. Like some people, they might just attack you just because you're just good. Anyways, but yeah, I'm very confident that I'm going to like reach my goals and accomplish my goals, all the goals that I have in mind, and all the possibilities that I think of in my head for the years afterwards. I'm gonna accomplish that. And if I happen to lose people just because everything in my life has gotten better across the board, and I've gotten better at literally every single aspect of my life, if I happen to lose people because of it, goodbye. Yeah, that's fine. It does not need to be a whole like standard as well. You don't need to go by, other people's standards. In fact, you don't need to go by any kind of standard that has been created. You don't need to do that, because I feel like if you just follow your heart and stuff, and you really and you continue to do what you do, and you continue to try and be the best that you can, and you try and surpass yourself, I feel like things will things, whether it be a company or whatever, they could just start to try and adjust to you if you present yourself to them. Look, I'm not saying that I've made any of that, like, I'm not saying that I've made any of that, like, I'm not saying that I've like made it any business and stuff, and the reason being is because, I think a big reason is because, I don't fit, and a number of things, just like personally, lifestyle wise as well, I don't fit. I also feel like I just have not fit before, because I also have not, I've done my things in a certain way in which I had to, I would add to it to the point where it wouldn't be fully developed, Since I liked it so much, I would just throw something out even if it wasn't like fully developed yet, so I guess it's always like on a development kind of thing. Anyways, I'm ranting or whatever, but yeah, recently I've had like a cold. I've had a cold. Like I've been coughing a lot, but I've been like working on that. I've looking to clean my room today. I always try and clean it like every single week, but things usually just like pile up again because I'm always in movement. Also, if you're just like, I feel like if you're someone that, you know, has like your room is messy or stuff like that, it's just probably because you just are really active, and that's not really a problem. You're just active and you're doing the best to like improve yourself, and so you're not, you know, you're also you also might just be like focused on cleaning your actual overall home, so that's not that much of a problem. Anyways, but I mean, it's good to have a clean room. Like, recently I had a lot of dust in here, so I had to get an air purifier yesterday so that I could stop coughing. So it is great to stay tidy. It has a lot of great benefits and whatever. I've also just been having I've been getting more stuff, so my more stuff has just been piling up, so that happens. It can be tougher to just kind of put things in order. Anyways, yeah, everything is okay. Yeah, I think this is the first type of video of this that I made on this channel, so like this, so that's pretty cool. I'll be back. I've just been doing stuff, so I haven't been on here doing other stuff. I'd love to do more of this. It's just, it's not my job. Hasn't been my job. Another thing I will say is, like, one thing I've been conscious of is just to not try and have a business just remove everything that is, or anybody that I'm working with remove everything, like, to remove the soul out of what I'm doing. It's possible that it could be that way, but I feel like if things are really like, it's possible. I'm not saying that that's what happens, but it is possible. So I feel like I've ignored, I've eliminated scenarios like that. And yeah, like, I don't want to say I've entirely eliminated scenarios like that, but for the most part, I've reduced scenarios like that, for the most part. Because I'm pretty damn sure wherever I go to, you know, like, if anything, you ain't gonna fuck with the merchandise, right? So, if anything, I will be accepted for just who I am. If I get accepted, I'm always gonna be putting myself out there, especially like next year. Really with anything. Like, I plan to, anything, really. And I can try anything because I do a lot of stuff, and I've been doing a lot of stuff for years. A lot of different stuff, so I can put myself out there for a number of stuff, and anything can happen. And so that's another cool aspect, that like anything can happen, so it's another thing that can help keep me going, and has helped keep me going. So yeah, screw it. Happy Hanukkah. Thanks for watching. I will be back. I've changed my skincare routine recently. I did not take a shower today. Did brush my teeth. Did not take a shower, at least not yet. So maybe that might contribute to why my skin looks darker. But in general, I've changed my lotion to more of like a vegan lotion. I use sunscreen more. So yeah, I have like my skincare routine is more so just like vegan stuff, and yeah, it's has better ingredients. I think overall better for my skin, so I just decided to go with that. So yeah, if I look different, sorry. I actually prefer it this way. I think it's better. I like quality of life stuff. I like it. Anyways, have a good day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I want to be on this channel more and post more stuff. Previous artist names: Emmanuel Earthbound, Arlo Dreed. Arlo Dreed was my artist name growing up. Also my virtual world name. So I go by Mars now, and the channel goes by Vortex County, which I really like because it just sounds like, you know, like for it sounds. I wanted to make a name that sounded like I wanted to make a name that was like that just felt like connected to people and the world, like the outside world. So yeah, I like that name. Vortex County sounds awesome. Yeah, it also just sounds really cool. And also just wanted to make something that felt like I could conceal my identity, so that I just keep my identity to myself. Well, not I don't know. I'm never like scared to express myself, but I just like to. I still like to keep my identity like close to my chest and really, you know, connect with it. I think a general rule of thumb is like to just let people be themselves, straight up, with no constrictions and stuff like that is the best rule of thumb. And you know, I feel like it works great for other people and it works great for me, and that's how it should be. And yeah, I made this video as well to because I love to be how can I say it? I'm not great with talking, so I'm sorry if I was like rambling a lot, losing myself a lot, but I love to have like constructive conversations. I really value that, and I love to be constructive and to have my center of my life, or you know, a big part of everything that I do. I try and center it around being constructive as well. So I like to. That was a big reason as to why I wanted to make the video. And also when that, you know, that social media person just said that, I was like, it got me thinking. So I was like, you know, I really want to make a video about it. Anyways, yeah. I've been doing straight. Been doing good. Just been doing good. And again, there's no real way for a person, in my opinion. I think just self-improvement is the way, right? There's no thing of like you get too low and that makes you worse, or you get too high or whatever that makes you worse or whatever. To me, it's just like as long as I can just make myself as good of a person I can be, that will always just work. And I try and do that every single time and with everything that I do. As long as I keep trying to do that, should be okay. And it's always been okay, you know, with that. Even at my lowest and at my highest, that's always worked. So yeah, 1 hour video. I got like 20 seconds left and it'll be 1 hour, a 1 hour video. I talk too much. I don't know, you can just watch this video in like in increments. Watch one part at some point. You can just ignore it. I don't give a shit. People can do whatever the hell they want. That's just, it's your life. Shit happens. Yeah, more stuff coming for me. Check out XA the Foundation, where I make a lot more YouTube videos, and I'm always gonna be working on improving myself. And so what, everything, I guess, is always just work in progress. And with me, I'm always going to be working on improving myself, and I think, as long as I live, there will be some kind of changes, so I'm just, big thing in my life is just see how things happen, really, and see how things go. That's it. Thanks for watching. Love you guys a lot, even when you guys don't like me. I still like you. I still have a huge belief in humanity and hoping for the greatest good of humanity. And I love humanism, humanitarianism, and shit like that. I love all that type of shit, and I've loved that for years. Doesn't mean I'm always gonna, do the best with it or whatever the heck, but always just gonna try and try and do good, whatever, shit like that. So, yeah, happy Hanukkah.